Hello and welcome. You're listening to Hurry, the Movie is Starting podcast. And today we're going to be pre-gaming the movie Friendship, the new A24 film. Well, not really new. It was actually released at a Toronto Film Festival in 2024, but it's new for us. Friendship. This movie is slated to release on May 9th, comes with an R rating, and is 1 hour and 40 minutes long. So this film had a world premiere on September 8th, 2024 at the Toronto International Film Festival, which at that point, A24 required the U.S. distribution rights to the film, and the rest is history. This movie comes by director Andrew De Jong, which you may know from the movie 555, Would It Kill You to Laugh, and Friendship. So not gonna lie, I don't know any of those movies. I do not know who this guy is. However, after seeing the trailer, it looks like it's going to be a good one. Tim Robinson, I love that dude. If you watched I Think You Should Leave, it looks like it's going to be like one of those kind of movies, which it's absolutely one of my favorite shows. Like, can you even consider it? I guess it is technically a show, but it's more like just a bunch of comedy skits that are freaking hilarious. Oh, it's on Netflix. I Think You Should Leave. Check it out if you want a good laugh. Maybe if you're enjoying some sloppy steaks. But you know those are illegal at Cochino's. I don't think that's the name of the restaurant, but that's the name that popped in my head. Anyways, the plot of this movie is suburban dad Craig, Tim Robinson, falls hard for his charismatic new neighbor, Paul Rudd, as Craig's attempts to make an adult male friend threaten to ruin both of their lives. That is an interest. It sounds like a freaking horror movie, but this movie is slated, like the genre of this movie is comedy. However, if you have watched Tim Robinson's I Think You Should Leave, you know that some of his skits are comedy, but then they also lead to like the anxious and dark side and just like the dark humor side of the spectrum. So I think we're going to expect that a little bit more in this movie, where it's going to be a comedy, but then like the random human elements of anxiety and just overthinking and just like being in your head too much is going to make it feel like kind of like a dark comedy / a thriller in some way. I'm excited for this one. So again, the genre of this movie is going to be a comedy. Looks like a Tim Robinson comedy with a dark twist, yet hilarious. The cast is Tim Robinson in his first leading role, Paul Rudd, Kate Mara, Jack Dylan Grazer. You know him from It and Shazam. This kid is 21 years old now. Do you feel old yet? Kid is 21 years old. Rick Worthy and Whitmer Thomas. So the concept for this movie seems to be making friends as an adult can be tough. If you're an adult and you're having trouble making friends and you're just like a loner, it's tough out there. It is tough out there. You don't want to be like too invested. You don't want to seem like too happy to try and make friends. You're kind of like hiding a piece of a certain side of yourself because you're like, oh, I don't want to scare them away if we're like not compatible. It's tough. The fear of loss is real, and just making friends as an adult can be a tough situation, because then they're probably thinking too, like, are they trying to be my friend or are they trying to get me in bed? And it's like, whoa, I just want to be friends. So I thought it was funny that Paul Rudd is now the like charismatic friend with just like that's very popular, because if you remember, and I Love You Man, he was charismatic, but he was like the loner that didn't have any friends, and he was going out to search for friends. So now the roles are reversed. So it seems like he's the charismatic guy that has lots of friends, and Tim Robinson is the loner that is kind of searching for more friendships. So that's just a funny little twist of things on the Paul Rudd meter. Showing new people who you truly are and anxieties that come with that. Yes. I feel like a lot of the time we are scared to show people who we truly are because we're scared of getting judged, or we're scared of potentially pushing people away, but that's just life. That's one thing that I learned. It took me a while to learn that people are going to like you for you. People are not going to like you for you. That's just what it is. Some people in this world don't like onions. There's nothing you can do about that. You're not going to try and make them, hey, eat this onion and enjoy it now. That's not love. That's control. That's not love. Like just the anxieties of potentially like letting yourself out there and getting rejected is like, I feel like it's huge in this day and age. We don't want to be rejected. Nobody wants to be laughed at, made fun of. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter as much as we put the importance in our mind. It definitely matters way more in our mind than it does in reality. And what do they say? Suffering is when your reality is not the actual reality of this real world. So that's just a little something to think about. Like, I know it's easy to say. it's easy to say it just like, oh, don't overthink it. But as an overthinker myself, I think about things 24/7 and I overthink things 24/7. But when you realize that you're the one in charge and not your mind or your thoughts, it becomes a little easier. It's definitely not easy, but it becomes a little bit easier to stop the overthinking and stop the overanalyzing and just think like, okay, well, I showed myself to that person. They rejected me. I guess that's not the person for me. And you just walk away. And then also this movie looks like the scarcity mindset and the fear of loss. When you don't have a lot of friends and you get that friend that just seems to be like great and perfect and just like everything seems to be better in your life, and then you lose them, it feels like kind of like your world is crumbling because you've had a taste of that excellence and now it's gone, and now you have to go back to your life where you might have been happy, but it might have been a little bit more boring, or there just might have been like less stuff for you to do. So that fear of loss definitely can settle in. And it's not even just with friendship, it's with like relationships too. If you have trouble quote unquote meeting people or dating people and you find that one person and you kind of attach to them instantly, most of the time they can feel that, and it's just like you put too much pressure or put them on a pedestal, and then they kind of get turned off by that because nobody wants to be on a pedestal. I mean, there's probably some people in this world with that fantasy or that kink of being on a pedestal, but in the end, I feel like nobody really wants to be on a pedestal. Nobody wants to try and live up to those standards. Nobody wants to be perfect. I mean, we all strive to be better versions of ourselves, but perfection is absolutely unattainable. And that's a lesson we have to learn at times. I think you should leave. Ironically, Tim Robinson's character is told to leave. So one of my notes on this movie is like, if you watch the trailer, he's invited into this friend group. He's kind of holding back a little bit. Like there's a scene where they start singing and he's just like looking awkwardly like, whoa, what is going on here? And that just gives us the vibe that it's going to like turn into a I think you should leave sketch. But like he eventually becomes like comfortable and starts to like, it looks like grow and be more comfortable with these people and allow them into quote unquote his world. But then we see later on in the trailer, he's told like, hey, this isn't going to work out. You should just like, it's not going to work out. We shouldn't be friends anymore. So like, I thought it was funny that Tim Robinson's show is called I Think You Should Leave. And in this moment, he's kind of told like, hey, you should leave this relationship because it's not working out. So that was just a note I made that I thought was kind of ironic. All right, we're starting something new this podcast. I'm going to be inserting the weekend leaderboard and the overall leaderboard for the box office because I want to get some numbers out there. Let's get some stats and numbers. So first off, I'm going to list the top 5 movies from this past weekend, which this past weekend was April 25th through the 27th. Coming in at number 1, Sinners made $45.7 million in the box office this last weekend. The movie just continues to rise. The hype is real. All the memes on social media, I'm here for it. Ryan Coogler, a great director, and I'm glad to see him getting more success. I mean, we've seen success with him with Judas and the Black Messiah and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Like, we've known this guy is something special, and it's just good to see him getting that praise and that hype around his movie. And I think this movie, it's only a matter of time before this new movie comes number 1 overall. Although it is facing, we'll get to that in a little bit. We'll get to that. Right now, it's number 1 on this weekend. Number 2. That's right. Star Wars Episode 3 comes number 2 on the weekend leaderboard, making $25.5 million this weekend, which, fun fact, is the highest opening for re-release since 2012, which was The Phantom Menace, and that made $19 million worldwide. So it's breaking records. People clearly love Episode 3. That's my favorite episode, and it's just good to see a good Star Wars movie back in theaters. I'm not throwing any shade at the last 3 movies that came out for Star Wars, but I mean, Episode 3 is where it's at. I went to go watch it with my sister and brother-in-law, and we just had a good time. It was just good. It was a good environment to be around like other Star Wars fans, to just see Anakin taking down younglings again on the big screen. Oh man, if you think about it, like 20 years ago, where were you when you watched that movie? We're getting old. We are getting old. Number 3 on the weekend leaderboard is The Accountant 2, came out to $24.5 million. If you think about it, Episode 3 was a re-release that made more than a new release in The Accountant 2. That's crazy. That's crazy. But, I mean, Star Wars is where it's at. Number 4, the Minecraft movie continues to just tumble over the box office. $22.7 million. This movie came out, like, I believe last month, and it is still at the box office. We're hearing lots of memes. We're hearing chicken jockey all over the place. Jack Black is just Jack Black. He's gonna sell movies. He's just such a character, and seems like a cool dude. Apparently there's like a song in that movie that's like the shortest song hit ever or something like that I was reading today. And I don't know, I haven't seen the movie. I'm not really into Minecraft. I know like a lot of people in this world are into Minecraft, and I know it's a huge like kids movie too, so that's always gonna like rise the stock of these movies when they're kids movies, because you're gonna go take kids to go watch it. You're gonna take your friends, you're gonna go take your family. If you're dating people with kids, you want to go take them and just share that family moment with these little ones. So that one's still on the leaderboard for the weekend. And then number 5, Until Dawn, 8 million. Man, I was so hyped for that movie. I still might watch it, but there's a lot of movies coming out that I'm kind of like pre-gaming, so I can go watch those too. I heard it wasn't that good. I did hear it wasn't that good. So after seeing that, I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to go watch this movie. Not specifically because of that, but because episode 3 was re-releasing, and we were going like as a surprise birthday gift from my brother-in-law. So when it came down to it, it was going to be episode 3 versus Until Dawn. And as much as I wanted to see Until Dawn, I was like, I'll save it for a Tuesday where it's $5 movies or something like that. So haven't seen that movie yet, but I might go watch it. But anyways, it's 5th on the leaderboard. Now, let's go to the big boy, the big leaderboard. The top movies of the year. What do you think's number 1? I'm going to give you a little time to guess. Go ahead. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. All right, if you guessed a Minecraft movie at number 1, you would be correct. Coming in at number 1 of the year, top movies of the year, Minecraft movie comes in at $380 million. That's insane. That is insane. And it's still like top in the weekend leaderboard too, so it's definitely going to go over that. I believe these are the domestic, not the worldwide, just so we can get a little taste of what we like here. That's number 1. Number 2, top 25 movies of the year in the box office. This one might surprise you. Captain America Brave New World, $200.2 million. That was a surprise to me, because I'm hearing nothing but negativity around this movie. Nothing but hate, nothing but, oh, that movie sucked. Yet it's number 2 in the box office of the year. We were in April, borderline May, and this is still number 2. So y'all are still watching it. Like the people complaining about how like not good this movie is, y'all are still going out to watch it. So I don't understand. That just makes me think that Thunderbolts is going to do like pretty solid. But then again, Thunderbolts are like a lesser known crew than Captain America. But I don't know. It's just weird to me that I'm hearing like nothing but negativity about Brave New World, and then at the same time, $200 million. I mean, that's just weird. But anyways, maybe it was just one of those movies that like the $200 million went like right away, and then we're just disappointed. But I don't know. It's still on the leaderboard. We got to talk about it. Number 3, Mufasa, The Lion King, comes in at $126.4 million. Which is pretty cool to see, because we know that Disney live action films have been getting demolished with critics' reviews and everything lately. But that one's still up top. And what lets me know about the Captain America and Mufasa is that this leaderboard is going to definitely change. It's definitely going to change. Number 4, Sinners, $123.2 million. That's definitely going to be overtaking some of these in a matter of maybe weeks. It's going to happen. Sinners is definitely going to be number 2 or 3 on this list. It only has 3 million away to catch up to Mufasa, but it's only a matter of time till it does. It's only a matter of time. And then Thunderbolts is coming out. That has a chance to overcome. I really think Fantastic Four is probably going to be one of the best ones to potentially break the top 5 and even break the top 3, in my opinion, especially if Captain America is sitting right there. But yeah, Sinners, number 4 on the list. It is just going to keep going up. Like that special card that you want to invest in from that like rookie player that you know is going to be good. That's what Sinners is. It's the Jaden Daniels of movies right now. Like, it came out, it exceeded our expectations. It went to the playoffs, and it's just going to the stock is just going to keep rising for it, in my opinion. And number 5, to round out the top 5 leaderboard, top 25 2025 movies of the year, Dogman 98.0 million. So again, this one was an animated film about a dog superhero, which was it was advertised like kind of as a kids movie. So again, these kids movies, they're kind of not always, but sometimes they're box office proof because sometimes you're like at home and you're like, man, I have all these kids here. I don't know what I'm going to do today. Like, we can go to the park, but it's Florida. It's hot outside. I don't want to go to a park and sweat all over the place. What else can we do? Well, we can go to the movies and watch Dogman or Minecraft or Mufasa the Lion King. It just puts things in a little perspective for you all. That's like these kid movies. They're kind of sometimes box office proof. It's not, I mean, sometimes they are, like The Wild Robot is going to be like a huge like gem in the movie theaters. But sometimes these kid movies, they're going to be the safe choice. No can dunk, but good fundamentals, if you get that reference. But anyways, that's going to bring us to the comment section. And our first comment comes from @JNAL21. This reminds me of that trend years ago when people would recut rom-com movie trailers but with sinister music. Yes. That's what I'm saying. That's why I initially thought this movie was a horror movie, because you see like the trailer and it's like, oh, this is kind of like an art house kind of movie, and it's Tim Robinson, he's hilarious, Paul Rudd is hilarious. And then it's just the music in the background is very sinister and very like daunting. It's going to make you think that there's something like sinister at work, but it's not labeled as a horror movie. So I'm like, what is this music? What are we doing? But music is great to pull out emotion in us. It's interesting. It's interesting to say the least. Next comment comes from @JohnnyVenus5435. Until I see this movie myself with my very own eyes, I will believe that this is just one really long Tim Robinson sketch and not a moment sooner. I'd be okay with that. I would be absolutely okay with that. I freaking love Tim Robinson. I love his sketches. Some are misses, but the hits, oh man, they're hits. You can go to work and just randomly quote, I think you should leave. It's also funny to see Connor O'Malley in the trailer, which he's another comedian that you see a lot in Tim Robinson skits. And just him and Robinson's like chemistry and them yelling at each other is comedy freaking gold. And from the trailer, we see them like Connor O'Malley yelling at him. So I'm just excited for that. I do agree that this is going to be a giant Tim Robinson sketch. @Hippo on a Bicycle, what a name there, says, can't wait for Paul Rudd to promote the movie by playing that clip from Mac and Me. Yeah, I don't know what that's referring to, but maybe you do. I don't know. I don't know what Mac and Me is. @Schaefer Scott says, I'm so confused. Should I be laughing or should I be scared? Exactly. That's what if there is no horror elements in this movie, I will be very surprised. I mean, maybe the horror elements of someone just being like too attached too quickly, like that's technically like a horror element in the aspect that it makes people feel uncomfortable and it makes people think like, oh, you're a creeper or you're a weirdo. So maybe that's going to be the horror elements we get in this movie. I don't know. Holly @HollyFitZZZ says, my GF, you're watching that guy again, aren't you? Me? No? ? My GF. I can tell from the way you laugh. Referring to Tim Robinson. He just has a way. And it's funny too, because when we used to talk about him at Disney, like most of the guys knew who he was, and immediately someone has a quote when they think about Tim Robinson, and then the girls are like, "Who's that?" Like, so I don't know if it's more like geared towards like men, but it's you don't see a lot of women talking about Tim Robinson or like I Think You Should Leave or even Sloppy Steaks in that whole point. Last comment comes from @Mishiwaka. He's too hard on the friendship. He wrenches on the friendship. He pulls on the friendship. He thinks it's his. And then the Forever Machine says, I said, shut up, Mike. Oh, man. It's funny to see these comments and just like the way they're running all over with this movie. But that's going to end that section for us and bring us up to final thoughts. My final thoughts on this movie. I don't think it's going to like exceed the Sinners levels of hype, because that movie just had so much going for it. It just had a lot, and it just came out so well. It was a little something for everyone. Probably not so much for kids, but like, it had a little bit for everyone. The symbolism, the hidden meanings, the deeper layers, just the cinematography in that movie, absolutely insane. It just had a little bit of everything. So I think this movie is potentially going to be a solid, like, quote unquote rom-com in a way, but it's just going to be one of those funny movies that gears towards a certain audience. I don't think it's going to explode like worldwide. I mean, I hope it does, because Tim Robinson's an amazing like comedian, so I would love for that to happen. And then he's with Paul Rudd. Everyone loves Paul Rudd. I think it's going to be like a solid movie in the box office. I think it's going to be pretty solid, pretty good movie. I just don't see it like overcoming like these giant Marvel movies or Sinners in terms of like production and in terms of just story writing and storytelling as a whole. But other than that, I'm still going to watch it. I think it's going to be a solid movie. I think it's going to be, I mean, I've said that 20 freaking times already, but let's just get to the over-under. Over-under. All right, so IMDb has made this a little bit easier for me. There is already a IMDb rating on this movie. It is currently sitting at a 7.5 out of 10 with 307 votes. So we're just going to use that as a line. Let me write that down. 7.5 out of 10. Now, do I think it's going to go over or under? This one's tough. This one is very tough because, like, I love Tim Robinson. I think I'd probably lean more toward, like, if this movie hits on the, like, if it is like an I Think You Should Leave sketch, it's probably going to be like an 8.5, a 9 out of 10 for me. But then I know, again, Tim Robinson's kind of hit or miss among like other people. Like, the people that love him are going to love him. The people that just think like, oh, he's okay, are going to not really like value him as high. So those are going to be the unders, while like all the fans of I Think You Should Leave and the Paul Rudd fans are going to be on the overs. So 7.5 is tough because it's like right in the middle. I am going to go out on a limb and say that this movie is going to be a lot better than anyone expects. I think it is going to be like I Think You Should Leave sketch, but I think it's going to add more like depth and more just storytelling into it. Obviously, it's a friggin' movie, not just a sketch. But I think it's going to give us more than what we're expecting. It's going to be a comedy, but it's going to have some like deep anxiety / real world issues that some of us overthinkers have to deal with on a daily basis. So I'm going to go over 7.5 out of 10. I think this is going to be a 7.7, 7.6. It's barely going to go over, but I think it's going to go over. Write that down, over 7.6 / 7.7. And that's the last part of this. That is going to be the end of this pregame. Hope you all enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next episode, Clown in a Cornfield. Hopefully release that by this Sunday, and that'll be out before the May 9th release of that movie as well. That's a horror movie coming out in May, so it looks, anytime a clown is the symbol of a horror movie, I'm pretty hyped for it. But that's going to be the next episode. Thank you all for listening. I really do truly appreciate it. God bless. Have a good day. And don't forget, hurry, the movie is starting.